You know, I never really thought that I was going to write a second book. I thought one was plenty, and it took enough out of me. But after Legacy of Honor came out, I really still had a couple questions. I think Legacy did a great job in settling my questions about the history of scouting, about what scouting's meant, about how scouting is today. But the more I traveled, the more people I spoke about, and the more I kind of became consumed with scouting, which is something I know a lot of y'all can relate to, I began to wonder a little bit more about scouting's future, about where we're going as a movement. And I wasn't really sure of the answers, and actually I had some doubts. And so in an act that's become a bit of a habit for me, I quit another job, and I spent a year traveling around the country, and really around the world this time, meeting Eagle Scouts of my generation, trying to find out what we were doing for the future of the world, but specifically for the future of this movement, for the future of scouting. And as you saw in the video, I had more fun than I deserved and got to meet a wonderful and really inspiring group of young people who were doing things here at home and around the world. And all of them were still living that great adventure of scouting, that adventure that we love so much, that adventure that we all started when we were 12 years old or 10 years old. And everyone here in this room is still on that adventure today. And like these guys in the video, like the guys in the book, all of us are still living an adventure, having a great time, but also doing something that's truly significant and meaningful for ourselves, our families, our communities, and our country. And that's what I found again and again as I traveled around and met the Eagle Scouts in their 20s and in their 30s. I also found something that I really wasn't expecting, and shame on me for thinking this, but I wasn't really sure if my generation harbored the same passion and devotion for scouting that maybe our parents did. Particularly as 20 and 30-year-olds, I didn't think that was our time for scouting. And I was wrong. I found again and again an unbelievable passion in this rising generation for scouting. And not just inside our hearts, but in our actions. You know, I've met Eagle Scouts taking inner city scouts camping. I met an NFL quarterback who's a Cub Master. I met a Hollywood actor who's a Scoutmaster. And all those stories inspired me so much, and I was just thrilled about what this new generation is doing for scouting and what we're going to do for scouting's future. So let me tell you this. Scouting's future is bright, and our generation is ready to take the torch and do our part. And if you spend any time in scouting at all, you realize what a great story it is that we have. And I've been very lucky to see scouting in, I think it's maybe about 60 councils now, maybe more. And so I've seen a lot of you out there, and I've seen what's going on in your communities. I've seen what's going on around the world in World Scouting. And let me tell you again, there's not a better story. And Bob and Rick talk about this to no end. And we've seen a lot of great things that are going on here, the initiatives that are being launched this week. But for us to really change scouting, for us to really grow this movement to be what it can be, we have to take this spirit, this energy and devotion that's here in this room and take it back to all our hometowns, all our units around the country. Because the exciting thing and the daunting thing is that growing scouting happens one unit at a time. So that means each of us has to go back to our home communities, be an advocate for scouting, get more people involved in scouting, and just be scouting's story. And when we go back to our home communities, it's not necessarily an easy place, and I understand that. These are uncertain times, and it's difficult. But we're scouting, guys. We can handle a little adversity. This is a movement that's been through 2 world wars, a Great Depression, countless recessions, Watergate, Vietnam, and more change than anybody thought we'd ever see in 100 years. But scouting is enduring. Scouting is certain. And in uncertain times, there is not a better place to make an investment in time and energy and gifts than something as enduring and certain as scouting. So I want to say how much I appreciate and admire all each of you are doing for scouting all across this country, what you're doing for our next generation of young people and our world. Let's get out there, all generations together, and grow this great movement. Thank you.